The story of our world is often told through ancient texts, shaping our understanding of history and faith. Among these, the Bible stands as a monumental collection, but there are other books once considered sacred that didn't make the final cut. One of the most fascinating is the Book of Enoch, a collection of visionary writings attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. Enoch's tale is epic. He journeys through the heavens, speaks with angels, and receives divine wisdom about the universe. For centuries, this book was respected by early Jewish and Christian communities, influencing ideas about good, evil, and the end of the world. Its exclusion from the Bible remains a historical puzzle with profound consequences. Imagine if Enoch's vivid accounts of angels and giants were part of Sunday school lessons. How different would our spiritual worldview be? The Book of Enoch answers questions the Bible leaves open, like the origins of demons and the reasons for the Great Flood. Today, the Book of Enoch is experiencing a resurgence as scholars and lay people rediscover its powerful narrative. Exploring its possible inclusion isn't just academic. It's a journey into an alternative history of faith. It shows how the boundaries of Scripture were drawn and how a single book can shape the beliefs of millions. Genesis briefly mentions the sons of God and the Nephilim, mysterious giants who once walked the earth. The Book of Enoch expands this into a dramatic story. The Watchers, a group of 200 angels led by Samyaza, descend to earth, driven by desire for human women. Their union produces the Nephilim, monstrous giants with insatiable appetites who devastate humanity and the land. These giants consume all resources, then turn to violence and cannibalism, spreading terror across the world. The cries of humanity reach heaven, prompting archangels to intervene. Enoch's account reframes the flood, not just as punishment for human sin, but as a cosmic battle to cleanse the earth of these unnatural beings. If this story were in the Bible, Noah's Ark would symbolize not only judgment, but the reclaiming of the world from monstrous invaders. The Watchers' rebellion and the Nephilim's rampage become the catalyst for divine intervention. Enoch's narrative gives names, motives, and a sense of cosmic urgency to a biblical mystery. The flood is no longer just a moral reset, it's a necessary act to restore order. The story's inclusion would have dramatically altered Christian views on evil and divine justice. It would cast the ancient world as a battleground between heaven and corrupted creation. The Book of Enoch transforms a cryptic passage into a foundational myth of cosmic conflict. The Book of Enoch reveals that the Watchers' greatest sin wasn't just their unions with humans, but the forbidden knowledge they shared. Angels like Azazel taught humanity to make weapons, leading to war and bloodshed. Others introduced cosmetics, sorcery, and astrology, skills that Enoch claims led to vanity, magic, and rebellion against God. This knowledge, given before humanity was ready, unleashed a new kind of evil, intellectual, and spiritual corruption. Unlike the Genesis story, where evil begins with Adam and Eve, Enoch blames the Watchers for introducing a spiritual poison into the world. This shifts the origin of evil from human disobedience to angelic interference. If Enoch's account were canonical, technology and knowledge might be viewed with suspicion as potential sources of spiritual danger. The struggle against sin would be seen as a battle against the lingering influence of these fallen angels. Enoch's story reframes evil as an active, intelligent force unleashed by a cosmic betrayal. It challenges us to consider the true cost of knowledge without wisdom. The Book of Enoch paints a detailed picture of the spiritual world with a complex hierarchy of angels and cosmic order. It explains the origin of demons. When the Nephilim died, their spirits, neither fully angel nor human, became restless, malevolent forces haunting the earth. These spirits, denied heaven, became the demons of later tradition, tormenting humanity until the final judgment. This backstory would have made spiritual warfare and exorcism even more central to Christian belief. Enoch's journeys also map out the afterlife separate realms for the righteous and the wicked, each awaiting final judgment. The righteous rest in light and comfort. Sinners are kept in dark valleys of torment. This vivid geography of the afterlife would have given Christians a much clearer framework for understanding death and judgment. Instead of vague notions of Sheol or Hades, believers would have a structured map of the spiritual world. Enoch's vision connects present spiritual battles to ancient cosmic events. It offers a universe alive with spiritual purpose, order, and ongoing conflict. The Book of Enoch is obsessed with justice and the final judgment. Enoch sees the fate of the Watchers, bound in darkness until the day they're cast into fire. The book's visions of judgment are explicit. No one, not even kings or angels, escapes divine justice. Enoch's focus on social justice, where oppressors are punished and the righteous vindicated, would have empowered movements against injustice. Central to these visions is the Son of Man, a pre-existent divine figure given authority to judge all creation. This figure is a clear precursor to the New Testament's portrayal of Jesus. If Enoch were canonical, Jesus' use of Son of Man would have carried immense, unmistakable weight. The book would provide a direct Old Testament foundation for the idea of a divine, pre-existent Messiah and Judge. The link between suffering servant and cosmic judge would be established from the start. Enoch's visions would have made the stakes of judgment and redemption even clearer. Though excluded from most Bibles, the Book of Enoch's influence is unmistakable in the New Testament. The Epistle of Jude quotes Enoch directly, treating it as prophecy. 2 Peter echoes Enoch's story of angels bound in darkness, using it as a warning against false teachers. Enoch's themes, fiery judgment, the Son of Man, cosmic battles, are woven throughout the Gospels and Revelation. Early Christians drew on Enoch because in their time many texts were considered sacred. The Book of Enoch was popular and shaped the way people thought about God, angels, and the end of the world. Its ideas were part of the intellectual air the first Christians breathed. The New Testament writers naturally reflected these themes in their own writings. Enoch's shadow lingers in the background of Christian scripture. Including the Book of Enoch in the Bible would have filled many theological gaps. It offers a detailed account of the origin of evil, naming the leaders of the fallen angels and their specific sins. Enoch bridges the gap between the Old and New Testaments, showing the development of ideas like resurrection, final judgment, and a divine Messiah. Its vivid descriptions of the afterlife would have given Christians a more structured understanding of heaven, hell, and judgment. The book's focus on the Nephilim and the Watchers would reframe Old Testament stories as part of a cosmic struggle. Even troubling passages, like the destruction of Canaanite tribes, could be seen as efforts to purge a corrupted bloodline. Enoch adds mythological depth and context to the biblical narrative. Its inclusion would have made Christian doctrine more detailed and more mysterious. Why was the Book of Enoch left out of the Bible, despite its early popularity? As Christianity grew, church leaders worried that Enoch's fantastic stories, angels, giants, cosmic journeys, were too mythological for a faith seeking credibility in the Roman world. The book's uncertain authorship and lack of apostolic authority also counted against it. Enoch was written long after the time of its supposed author, making its origin suspect, as doctrines like original sin took center stage. Enoch's focus on angelic corruption became redundant and even contradictory. The church streamlined its theology, favoring a more human-centered narrative of sin and salvation. Over time, Enoch was sidelined, surviving only in the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition. Its exclusion marked a pivotal moment in shaping the Christian canon. If the Book of Enoch had been included in the Bible, Christianity would look very different. The spiritual world would be more detailed and more terrifying. Faith would focus more on spiritual warfare, exorcism, and the dangers of forbidden knowledge. Jesus, as the Son of Man, would have an explicit Old Testament backstory as a cosmic judge. The Bible's narrative would feel like epic fantasy, full of cosmic wars and divine intervention. The relationship between faith and science might have been even more contentious. Yet Enoch's exclusion led to a more grounded, human-focused faith. But its legacy endures as a reminder of the rich diversity of early belief. The Book of Enoch remains a window into a lost world of sacred imagination.